Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, President-elect Donald Trump is setting up his team for the White House while the Biden administration looks to push through some initiatives. And veterans can face challenges after leaving the military. We'll hear how one veteran's small business has become a solution.
And after seeing highs in the 60s and 70s today, much cooler air is in the forecast for tomorrow. Details in a few minutes.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. President-elect Donald Trump has vowed to begin a mass deportation plan to expel every undocumented immigrant in the United States beginning on day one when he takes office. He has now named 2 people who are likely to head up that program. CBS's Christian Benavidez has the latest from West Palm Beach, Florida.
Vote Republican and we will begin the largest deportation operation in American history.
President-elect Donald Trump's vow to begin deporting undocumented immigrants helped sweep him into office, and now he's putting the people in place to make it happen. Trump posted Sunday on Truth Social that he is naming former ICE Director Tom Homan as his border czar. Homan defended Trump's signature pledge on 60 Minutes last month.
I've seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Homan recommended the zero-tolerance policy during Trump's first administration, resulting in undocumented immigrants being separated from family members who were citizens. He told 60 Minutes this time will be different.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
CBS News has also confirmed Stephen Miller, a vocal advocate for strong immigration policies during Trump's first term, will be Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy.
Neither Homan nor Miller need Senate confirmation, but Trump is pushing for the new Republican-controlled Senate to move quickly to confirm the rest of his cabinet.
Thank you for coming here today.
That includes New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, who will be leaving Capitol Hill to serve as U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. Christian Benavidez, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Trump also announced that New York Congressman Lee Zeldin is his choice to head up the Environmental Protection Agency. The White House is racing to dole out remaining funds from key legislation President Biden signed before President-elect Trump takes office. That includes allocating grants for climate initiatives and sending available money and weapons to Ukraine. The implementation efforts reflect how the Biden administration is working to shore up initiatives with the Trump presidency just weeks away. Trucks carrying humanitarian aid were allowed through the Erez crossing into northern Gaza this morning amid the ongoing Israel-Gaza offensive. The United States will decide this week whether Israel has made progress toward improving the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip and how it responds, according to National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. The Kremlin denies reports that U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has spoken to Russian President Vladimir Putin in recent days and said Putin had no concrete plans yet to speak to Trump. The Washington Post first reported that the call had taken place, citing unidentified sources, and said that Trump had told Putin that he should not escalate the Ukraine war. Reuters also reported on the call, citing an unidentified source. Russian air attacks killed at least 6 people overnight, injuring 19 more, including 5 children, and setting fire to several buildings in southern Ukraine. Videos from Ukraine's State Emergency Service showed rescuers evacuating residents amid smoldering buildings after the attacks. Reuters was not able to independently verify the location and date of the videos. There was no immediate comment from Russia. Richard Allen has been found guilty on all counts in the highly publicized Delphi murder trial in Indiana. The jury convicted Allen of killing 13-year-old Abigail "Abby" Williams and 14-year-old Libby German in 2017. Prosecutors said he killed them and left their bodies near a trail in the city of Delphi. Jurors heard evidence for more than 2 weeks and saw video of Liberty German that Video that Liberty German captured on her cell phone shortly before she was killed.
He confessed more than 60 times. And what the defense also said is, well, there wasn't that smoking gun, so to speak, that literally showed the murder. That often is not present. That's not the standard that jurors need to go by. And so what the jury found here clearly is that at least one of those 60 confessions was credible.
Allen faces up to 130 years in prison when he's sentenced in December.
Wow, we had a beautiful start to the week. Temperatures today were in the upper 60s and low 70s, but there's a big cool down starting tomorrow. Here's the latest with live pinpoint Doppler radar showing some false returns just to the north and west of the WYMT viewing area. All is quiet at this hour, and you can see right there a beautiful sunset on Buffalo Mountain, and temperatures are still in the 60s and 70s. We're at 63 in Hazard, 64 in Jackson, as well as Prestonsburg and Pikeville. 70s the current temperature in Jacksboro, 66 is the temperature in Middlesboro. So when you wake up in the morning, temperatures will be in the 30s and 40s. Notice that wind, how it's coming out of the north and the northwest. This right here is going to be our main component as we go throughout the day on Tuesday, and what that means for you and me, temperatures much cooler. There is I guess you could say a roller coaster ride in terms of temperatures, if you will. We'll talk about that, plus our next best chance of rain, and that's coming up in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
All right, Eric, thank you. On this Veterans Day, there are nearly 18 million veterans who have served in the military. Most of them, 14.2 million, have served in wartime. Finding what happens after their service can be a challenge, which is why there's a special push this week to help veterans find what's next. Maribel Gonzalez has more.
I'm Pat Montgomery, former member of 1st Ranger Battalion and owner and founder of Casey Cattle Company.
A world away from the battlefield, Patrick Montgomery found his next mission in a Missouri cattle field.
I am a huge believer that entrepreneurship is a great fit for the veteran community.
He launched a specialty beef company, but after a rave review from Food and Wine magazine, the company went from 20 orders a week to 12,000 in 24 hours.
You need funding to go make that growth happen.
Montgomery turned to the Small Business Administration's program for veterans to help build up his company.
That's where we come in. We help with the mentoring, we help with the training, and we stay with them.
The Federal Office of Advocacy's most recent numbers from the U.S. Census show more than 1.6 million veteran-owned businesses in the country, with nearly $1 trillion in annual sales, employing about 3.25 million people.
The American economy is driven by small businesses. So the more veterans and military spouses we can get into entrepreneurship, starting their business, is a big win for our economy.
30% of veteran-owned businesses employ fewer than 20 people. Casey Cattle Company has 12. Its website says, quote, the military taught them values they deliver to your plate. Patrick Montgomery says if he can do it, any veteran can.
In the world, but there's something out there post-military service that can provide that same fulfillment and the same brotherhood and camaraderie that you miss. Happy Veterans Day, y'all.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
Dogs are man's best friend, and for veterans, they can be a life-saving friend. The Department of Veterans Affairs says 7% of veterans will experience PTSD, and for those who served in conflicts this century, that number is 15%. Dogs for Valor is a Kansas-based organization that trains dogs to help manage their owners' symptoms like depression and anxiety. Many vets come to the program on edge and afraid to be in public spaces.
A lot of times the veteran with severe PTSD is, homebound. They're isolated, they're very nervous, they won't make eye contact, some won't leave the house at all. And by the end of the service dog program, they're coming out with their dogs.
The training program lasts for 6 to 9 months, but many veterans continue to attend group gatherings. Some vets say their family relationships have also improved since working with Dogs for Valor. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, still got a gift card from last Christmas or even 5 Christmases ago? Hear how you can still use them.
And in the world of weather, rain chances and cooler temperatures are in the forecast. Details in a few minutes.